Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and Rule Well. Peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. All right, I'm going to get into confusion of faith, or basically what that is Israelites that look like heathens, okay, or look like other nations, which, would be heathens, whatever nation it may be, Ishmael, Edom, Moab, Ammon, Elam, whatever, but their father's patrilineal goes back to a tribe, all right, which makes them an Israelite, okay, and we're going to prove that today. All right, and then I'm going to show you some examples of people that have a so-called black father, all right, an Israelite father, and I don't know if all their mothers are heathens or confusion of faith, but nonetheless, okay, just to prove a point, and that it even changes, that quickly, okay. Somebody can be, you can be a dark-skinned man and mix with a Edomite woman that's pale, and your baby can come out looking pale, man. That's reality, but the baby is still an Israelite. That baby is whatever tribe you're from. All right, so this is Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. Okay, and you can actually, go to many places in the Bible, and it actually traces the lineage through the fathers, one being Matthew 1:1. All right, it says the book of the generation of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham, and it traces it from Abraham, to Jacob, to Judah, to Josiah, well, also to David before that, and Solomon, to Josiah, to Joseph, and then, Yahweh Shai, okay? Which also proves that Joseph is his biological father, all right? So it just traces it all the way through the men, not the women, all right? The men, the patrilineal, okay? By the house of their fathers. You can also go to, there's, many examples, and usually when it introduces somebody, it'll say who they are and who their father is, all right? But let me just get another one of them tracing the lineage. Second Esdras 1, it traces it from Ezra, all the way to Phinehas, Eleazar, then Aaron, and it says of the tribe of Levi. All right. So, that pretty much proves that really in itself. All right, but we got some examples. First is this, all right? This is Exodus chapter 2, verse 21. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. Okay? We're going to continue on with this. Numbers 12:1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Salakia. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. Okay? But guess what? 1 Chronicles chapter 23, verse 14. Now concerning Moses, the man of Yahweh, his sons were named of the tribe of Levi. The sons of Moses were Gershom and Eleazar. Let me read that again. Now concerning Moses, the man of Yahweh, his sons were named of the tribe of Levi. His sons were Levites. Why? Because he was a Levite. Okay, that's clear. Oh, I didn't put a bookmark on the other one. Salakia. We'll have to go to highlights, which is going to take a little while to load, but that's the point. All right, it goes by your father. Okay, it goes by your father. And after thousands and thousands of years, you don't think that there's going to be Israelites that look like other nations? How many times does the Bible talk about us being scattered all over, man? It tells you that all the time. Okay, there are so many precepts on that. And even in Deuteronomy 28, it tells you that one of the curses would be to be scattered all over, man. That's why in Matthew 24, Yahweh is going to send his son Yahushai and the angels, and they're going to gather the elect from the four winds. All right, all over, because we're scattered all over. Okay, it's not rocket science, man. But if you're not meant to get it, you won't get it. All right, only the elect are going to understand this. Okay. So we're still waiting for the highlights here, but that's how it works. All right, one of the best examples we use, which I actually have that as an example, is Blake Griffin. Right, you look at his son. His son looks more like a so-called white person. All right, but his his dad, which is Blake Griffin, he's a Levite. And some people even thought he was a so-called white person. Then what? Then you look at his dad. His dad is extremely dark. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 13. So King Rehoboam strengthened himself in Jerusalem and reigned, for Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which Yahweh had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naamah, a Ammonitess. So she was an Ammonite. But what was he? An Israelite. Otherwise he wouldn't be king of Judah. He was the king of Judah. All right. He was actually the first, the first king of Judah after the United Monarch broke apart after Solomon. So why was he up there if he was a heathen? His mother was an Ammonite because he's an Israelite. Okay? Because it goes by your father. That's clear, man. It's already been made clear. Okay? It's not. Confusion of faith is an extremely major stumbling block. All right? But once you understand it, which Lord willing we're of the elect, if you understand it, it's like, you look at it, it's like, it's so simple. How could people not get it? All right? I mean, look at Obama, okay? People think, well, he's a so-called black man, but he's a Hamite. No, man, he's probably an Edomite, all right? Because there's people that look like, so-called Negroes straight up, and they're Edomites or other heathen nations. Their dad may even look like a so-called Negro, but further up the patrilineal, it goes back to a product of rape or whatever. All right, Israelite woman being with an Israelite woman being with a heathen man. All right, and that makes a person a heathen. It's all about your patrilineal. Okay, let me get what patrilineal is, because that's what Salakia. Patrilineal. Relating to or based on relationship to the father or descent through the male line. Who does it say? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? The Israelites always bring their lineage to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, that's the chosen line, right? Why didn't it go, Sarah, Rebecca, and Rachel? Why was it Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Because it goes through your patrilineal, all right? The males. The male carries the seed. If I have a mustard seed and I plant it in the soil, it's going to come out a mustard tree. All right? Not an apple tree, not an oak tree. All right? Not a wintergreen tree, not a pine tree, etc. A mustard tree. Why? Because the seed I put in that soil was a mustard seed. All right? It's about the seed. And then you're planting your seed inside soil, inside the woman's egg. All right? And that baby, whether it's a male or female, is going to come out whatever you were. All right, but let's say you have a daughter. Your daughter's an Israelite because of you. But your daughter marries a heathen, and bears children. Those children are heathens then. Okay? And it's no different with two heathens. If a Hamite man and a Ishmaelite woman get together, the baby will be a Hamite. It's no different with them. All right, it's the same thing. It goes by the patrilineal. Okay? It goes by the patrilineal. That's why it was so important for priests, really high priests, to trace their lineage. And who would they trace it back to? Aaron, right? Through men. Not through women, through men. Okay? That's why it's not monarchs, it's patriarchs. Patriarchs. It goes by your patrilineal. Okay, now let's look at some examples of this. Okay, first here we got Derek Jeter. All right, he's a retired baseball player. You know, he might be a Hall of Famer. I don't know much about baseball. I assume he is a Hall of Famer because he was extremely good. Okay, but that's not the point. Okay? That's his father right there. His father's a so-called black man. So what does that make him? Well, whatever tribe he's from, which, you know, based off his nose, because Judites tend to have a lion-shaped nose. Okay, not always, but sometimes. All right, so if his father's a Judite, because I don't know what, you know, his father could be Benjamin or whatever, I don't know. Okay, but if his father's a Judite, Derek Jeter is a Judite. All right, Blake Griffin, his father's a Levite. Look how dark he is, and look how light they are. And their mother, I don't know if she's confusing the face or not, but if she was a heathen, what are they? Levites. And Blake Griffin, he had a son. What would his son be? A Levite. If Blake Griffin's son had a child, what would that be then? An Israelite. It's not hard to understand. Okay, this is Logic, a rapper. That's his father right there. A lot of people thought he was a so-called white person, but his dad's a so-called Negro. So what does that mean? He's an Israelite. All right. Drake. I mean, you know, he doesn't really look like a so-called white guy, but some people thought he could have been an Arab, so-called, or, you know, whatever. That's his father on the left. He's an Israelite. Aaron Gordon, he's in the NBA. That's his father on the left. He's an Israelite. Okay? Austin Rivers, that's his father on the left. He's an Israelite. Chris Humphries, that's his father on the left. Once again, he's an Israelite. Okay? All these examples right here, and you people still don't get it. Okay? It goes by your patrilineal. Okay? That's what matters if you're an Israelite. All right? It doesn't matter what your mother is. Okay? But that doesn't mean that we're telling you, okay, go with heathens. No, go with Israelites. Okay? But your child, if you're an Israelite man, is an Israelite. Okay? It doesn't matter what tone they have, what their eye color is, what their hair texture is. That shit don't matter. They're an Israelite. Okay? That's what matters. Okay? And a lot of people fail to see that. Okay? And that's a major, major stumbling block for them. Confusion of face. Okay, let me get that. Romans chapter 11, verse 7. I'm going to close out with these. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. All right, so the elect will understand this, but everybody else won't. All right, you know, to an extent. Okay, because it's talking about this truth altogether, but that's a major stumbling block. Okay, the elect aren't gonna, believe that. Well, no Israelites can look like other nations. No, nobody that's part of the elect would believe that. All right. They'll understand that Israelites, it goes by your father's seed line, man. According as it is written, Yahweh hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. And David saith, let their table be made a snare, and a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. Okay, so, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. All right, Lord willing, we're of the elect. Lord willing, you can understand this and take heed. But I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone to roll well. Peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. All right, keep pushing. Okay, we're almost out of here. Keep doing the work. If you're an Israelite man, go out on the highways and byways, push the YouTube videos, etc. Okay, we're almost out of here. Shalom.